before the World Cup began, do you remember the conversations around Manchester United's breakthrough star Alejandro Garnacho? Now there are talks. Well, in actual fact, before I tell you where the situation is now, Simon, we were hearing that Garnacho maybe at one time, he's just a kid, he's in his teens, but when he was thrown in to the top flight in the past, there were those at Old Trafford who wanted to make a point of highlighting a one-time attitude problem with the youngster. You'll hear Bruno Fernandes in a second. This was Ten Hag.
This shows the real talent, what real talents can do, but it's only for him still a long way to go. You have to keep his feet on the ground, just as the whole team now, but he especially, he has to do much more investment because he will be recognizable for everyone, so it's much more important every time to confirm it. And big players know that, young players don't know. For now, it's a 4-week break. That's already a danger for him because he's now in the momentum. See how he's coming back. And we have to manage that with him. But when his attitude is good, I'm certain he will have an impact.
Oh, he was good, but he knows that we expect a lot from him. Obviously, still really young. He's doing really well. The beginning of the season not at his best. In the tour he didn't have the best attitude that he should had, and that's why he didn't get his chances until now. He's getting his chances because he's training better. He's having a different attitude, and he's deserving his chances.
It's interesting. In the same sentence, both Ten Hag and Bruno Fernandes throw in the word attitude when it comes to this boy Alejandro Garnacho, Argentinian.
There must be a concern that somehow or another he needs to make sure that his attitude is focused on the business of football rather than thinking he's arrived before his journey's begun. Interesting, isn't it? Let's keep his feet on the ground. I know the best way to do that. Increase his salary by 10 times.
Well, exactly.
That'll keep his feet on the ground.
Exactly. There is talk that he is now set to earn 10 times his current salary as talks progress over a new contract at Old Trafford. So on the one hand, what's your attitude, kid? On the other hand, here's 10 times what you earn.
Well, look, I mean, if he is a regular feature of Manchester United's side, and let's not forget it's Manchester United, and whatever they are at this moment in time on the field, they still carry a huge amount of reputation, and they have a playing squad that's costing the club £330 million a year, give or take, something in that region. When you look at that, what that must equate to as the average player, you're going to find someone, doesn't matter how young or old they are, if the average player in the Man United dressing room is on 150 grand a week, right, and this kid's on 5 grand a week, there's going to be a conversation that's going to have to happen sooner rather than later, whether we like it or we don't. It will be, I suspect, a quid pro quo. It'll be, okay, you've got a contract which runs up until 2024. We've got an extension on that is our gift, so you're here till 2025. So we've got you for 2.5 years. We'll give you a pay rise, but you're signing a 5-year deal now. And so whilst it might be unpalatable to say you've just arrived at 5 grand a week, you're going to 50 grand a week, that's what happens in football.
Yeah.
I had a player, it's all relative, one particular salary, I had to give him 5 pay rises in 18 months because it was the nature of the beast. I hated it. I didn't think it was right because every single time I gave him a pay rise, no sooner I'd done it and the ink had dried on it, the fellow was back in my office with his agent asking for another one.
Yeah, but stop you there. So why did that happen?
Because you're looking at what they're achieving against what the other players are getting in the playing squad. They all talk amongst one another. They all know what they're getting, and all of a sudden you're praising this player. This player's getting praised left, right, and centre, and then the inevitable thing happens, which is if I'm getting praised by everybody and I'm getting man of the match and I'm getting this and I'm getting that, why is that fellow over there getting 20 grand a week and I'm getting 4? And so what you're trying to do is you go, well, I'll tell you what, listen, on the journey that you're on, he's been at a certain level in his career, you're at a different level in your career. What we'll do is we'll build it on the basis of, okay, we'll go to 6-7 grand a week. It's a great pay rise for you. You've got a 50% pay rise, away you go. And then back you are again in a couple of months' time with the player and the manager saying, and the agent saying, look, we've got this situation to manage. Now, in this situation, you've got a player that's in a situation because he's been signed as a young player. Like often the case happens, when young players come through your academy, they are always the ones that are paid the least. Right. Because they're homegrown and they'll get there in the end, but they get there a bit slower because you've got them on, £300 a week as an academy player on a scholarship contract going into a pro contract. In this instance, they've signed him from another football club and brought him in as a young player into their setup. But he's now going to go to a comparable level. I mean, I would suggest he's still going to be the lowest paid player
Oh, probably.
in Man United's
probably.
setup.
But only in football, Simon, you're right. Can you go from 20 grand a month to 200 grand a month?
Yeah.